Hey everybody, wanted to let you know that my new book, Hometown Titan, Build a Local Business That Dominates Your Market, is now available on Amazon and has already hit the bestseller lists. We're going to be coming out with Audible soon and hoping to get it into some bookstores, but it would mean the world to me if you went out and got your copy here today, because in this book, I tell never before told stories on my 12 plus year journey in the moving industry. So go get your copy today, Hometown Titan, Build a Local Business That Dominates Your Market, and tighten up.
And the reason is because you think about referrals are correlated to relationships and trust. And so the human to human connection is super important. Now AI is getting better and better, but we're always going to have a human in the loop to make sure those conversations stay personal. Our platform, because there's a human in the loop, is not considered an auto dialer. And so it's a good practice to just have general consent to reach out to somebody. But our platform is set up in a way that it's the same as if somebody's just texting phone to phone. So we can do outreach now. We're sensitive to our, it's similar to like on email, like your spam score is not getting a high amount of people that unsubscribe, because our messaging platform will then, count that against us.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Grow Your Moving Company podcast. I'm your host, Wade Sweikel, owner and CEO of Two College Brothers Moving Storage and Franchising, as well as a co-founder of the Moving Titan Retreat and Tighten Up Training. And today is a guest that I actually met at one of our previous Moving Titan retreats. Had no idea who he was or what he did until he approached me. And that's the beauty of these events, is we get to meet awesome new people, new vendors, new moving company owners that you may not otherwise meet. So today's guest is Landon Taylor, and he is the founder and CEO of Snoball. He has over 15 years of experience in the customer acquisition space, and Snoball has been a very valuable platform for my company at Two College Brothers. We use it for all our locations to generate repeat and referral business. It automates the entire process, streamlines referral payouts, and automated drip campaigns. And it's been an extremely valuable tool. We've seen a huge ROI since we started using Snoball a little over 6 months ago. And I'm excited to talk to you, Landon, because, it just kind of happened to meet by chance. You found the Titan Retreats. You approached me and we had a great conversation, and you said, hey, let's give this thing a try. You were very passionate, and I respect that. You believed in what you had. So I was like, hey, you don't know if you don't try it. Gave it a shot. And now I know a ton of moving companies that are using Snoball with a lot of success. It seems like I don't think I've talked to anybody who is using it that hasn't seen success. But I guess before we kind of get started on what the best strategies are on how to generate repeat and referral business, how to leverage Snoball in the best capacity, give me a little backstory on your experience and how you got into this space and how you got connected with the moving industry.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks, Wade, for having me on. And going back to that experience at Moving Titans Retreat, one takeaway I had was it was super evident was the energy, the camaraderie in the industry. Everybody there. It was my first time coming into the moving industry. Don't have any background or anything in it, and I left that show. I remember telling our CRO who was with us that it was a breath of fresh air. How much people wanted to help each other grow, the camaraderie, the growth mindset. So super excited to join again this year. Moving Titans be a sponsor, and then it's just been a lot of fun working with companies that are moving Titans and thought leaders. And so quick background, right? My history is this is my third company, Snoball. The 15 years has always, the common denominator with my other companies has been customer acquisition, how to effectively acquire new customers to grow your business. First business was an affiliate marketing company. So we had about 5,000 active affiliates, and we would broker business between an advertiser, so the business that wanted the lead, and the publishers, those who had traffic to generate the leads. Ran that for a number of years, sold it back in 2020, and then started another company called bestcompany.com. It's a review site. Companies have a listing, they have reviews, and they can promote their brand on a third-party platform. So we got really good at reviews and marketing your reputation to drive new business, right? As a customer is looking at a business and deciding whether or not to use them, They want to know, what are other people saying? How social proofed is that brand? And so they'll go to sites like Best Company, they'll search on Google, they'll go check their website or their Google business page just to kind of frame their opinion of that brand based on what other people are saying. So bestcompany.com, we got really good at the reviews and reputation marketing as it related to generating new business. And then the aha moment we had, Wade, was probably 3 years ago. We said, okay, we really know how to generate leads and see those leads turn into customers. And we know reviews and reputation. If we put that all together, really what it is a word of mouth marketing engine, right? Generating new business from your happy customers. And so we created this referral engine in our platform. And then the one thing that we learned as we did discovery for a year and talked to a lot of companies is a lot of companies don't have the time to do all of the things that drive word of mouth business, like new customers from referrals and repeats. They don't have the time to do all the follow-up and nurturing, the tracking, the payouts. So we said, okay, let's take the best of what we know. We've been doing this for a long time. Let's create a software and a platform. And then let's also provide an assistant in the software that can run the platform for the companies that we work with. So that's where Snowball is at today. It's a done-for-you platform, helps good companies get new business from their happy customers.
Yeah. And, one of the benefits of Snowball is the automation of it. And you hear a lot about, people that want to do an affiliate program, or they're like, hey, if you refer me, I'll give you, $50 or $100 or whatever the kickback might be. But it all falls apart when you have to have somebody manually keeping track of that. Yeah. And it's very, very challenging to do. But it's so important, because if you promise that you'll pay back an affiliate fee or a referral fee to somebody and then you don't, well, then that's probably the last referral you're going to get from them, because you're not holding up your word. They kind of lose trust. They probably won't even say anything about it. They just won't refer you anymore. And what I love about Snowball is you don't even have to think about it. You guys come into our CRM, you pull the customer lists once a week, they get a text. You can set it up to have that drip campaign really to however you want to do it. I mean, you could probably send out, more than once a week. You could send it out on sequences over the course of several weeks, over the course of several years, probably even. And it constantly is reminding the customers that you've serviced that have closed out their jobs with you to go and either leave you a review or to click a link to refer somebody. And then when they click that link and enter that information and it comes in as a Snowball lead, it's automatically tracked. And then as soon as that job books and gets closed out, then there's an ACH directly back to them. And that's, I mean, just the streamlined approach is incredibly valuable. What strategies, I know we're using it to an extent, but I'd love to just learn for, selfishly, my own personal use, like what strategies have been most effective that you've seen moving companies doing that maybe we're not even doing yet, that, you can kind of steer us in the right direction to give us the templates and like the timeline of the drips and all that good stuff. What are you seeing as
you nailed it. I mean, just to reiterate what you said about sometimes the travesty of, you think about as a business owner, for those that are listening to this podcast, you're a business owner, blood, sweat, and tears into providing a great customer experience, right? Like you train your people, customer first, how to do it right, all the SOPs and standard operating procedures that you have in place. So you get a customer who's happy, who's willing to refer you business. They refer somebody and they have a poor experience with the referral program. So it takes somebody who was an advocate, who was an ambassador, and turns them now into a detractor. What a tragedy, right? So we Snowball make sure that does not happen, that your referral experience for your customers is as good as the experience they had with your movers, with your team throughout the entire journey. One other thing I just want to call out is like one of the superpowers of Snowball is the human touch. So the initial messages we send to the customer to offer to present the referral program to them, that initial message is automated, but as soon as they respond, the customer, it's now a human to human conversation. So Snowball provides a human team who's handling all the messages back and forth and follow up.
So it's a real person. It's not like an AI bot or a pre-canned thing. Love that.
And the reason is because you think about referrals are correlated to relationships and trust. And so the human to human connection is super important. Now AI is getting better and better, but we're always going to have a human in the loop to make sure those conversations stay personal. In terms of strategy, like I think about and this is whether or not a company that's listening uses Snowball or not. I think there's some valuable takeaways here. Is 3 pillars: ongoing, nurturing, and outreach. Like find ways to just provide value. Don't see your customers so much as a transaction. See them as a person, as a human, and how to build up that relationship, and then give value to get value. So ongoing nurturing, if you're not using Snowball, have somebody at your company who's overseeing that continual touch points and outreach. Wish them happy birthday, right? Send them a note on an anniversary. Whatever it is you can do to have positive touch points that build a relationship. That's the first pillar. The second pillar, as it relates to the referral program, make it super easy for them to refer. And that kind of manifests itself in 2 ways. One, keep it simple. Don't have a program that's so complex that a customer has to like review it a few times just to understand it. Make it so simple. They get X when they do Y. 2 is make it easy for them to refer. Whether it's they send the referrals information over a text, submit it on a simple form, just remove the friction in that process. And then the last pillar of the 3 to a good referral program is make it easy to collect their reward. So one stat that's like just really kind of shined for me is that 50% of the referrals that we see come from somebody who has left at least one referral. So if you step back, what I take from that is a customer needs to experience the entire referral experience. Being talked to, building relationships, sending a referral in, and then getting their reward to build up enough trust and be enough top of mind so that they're willing to open up their Rolodex even more and refer people. So once those 3 pillars are kind of like the main pillars that we manage to on our side and that we take off the plate for the company and just handle. Another strategy too, Wade, just to throw out there, and would love to kind of riff on this more, is customer referral program is one thing, but all of the non-customer referral partners, realtors, storage facilities, interior designers, anybody that has clients that they could refer to you, we now manage those for companies as well, alongside the customer referral program. So a lot of the underlying mechanics are the same, tracking, payouts, things like that. But how you talk to a realtor versus a customer is a little bit different. So we actually have 2 different team members on our side that manage those conversations.
This show is powered by Hey Lieu's virtual assistant team. They've revolutionized how we run our business and can handle anything from inbox management to social media, research, and yes, even production of this podcast. Want to reclaim more than 20 hours a week in your business so that you can focus on the things that really move the needle? Use our link in the description to get started with your own dedicated VA with Hey Lieu. And thanks to Hey Lieu for powering the Grow Your Moving Company podcast. Yeah, I know we uploaded quite a few realtors. We tried to get like every realtor's contact in Tampa Bay, and there's several thousand of those. And it's a different approach because they may not have used you yet, and but you want them to know who you are, and then they can do their research or whatever, and then maybe they just send something over to you. And it's a numbers game at the end of the day. If they have no idea who you are, you send it to say 5,000 realtors that don't know who you are, but maybe they got somebody in a pinch and you were the path of least resistance because you were the last one to send them a text, or you kind of had an ongoing campaign. And, they give you a try, it goes well, they get paid, and everybody's happy.
Yeah.
How does...
good.
Oh, yeah. You can go ahead. I
have a question. One just additional thought on that. So you've got like the idea of, general kind of outreach, right? Just to kind of get on their radar generally. But then I think a strategy that really could be something that those who are listening can implement is, I think most moving company owners are like, I know how to get in front of a group of realtors, right? I know how to get in front of a storage facility. I can go to BNI meeting or whatever it is. Once I get in front of them, normally the block or the wall that they hit is, okay, these people want to refer me business, but who's going to manage all these relationships? Who's going to manage all the tracking, all that stuff? So what we do with our affiliate program side of our platform is we provide the collateral for a realtor to easily join the program and get introduced to the Snowball assistant, who then nurtures and supports that relationship from a referral standpoint from that point forward. So the companies that do the best with our platform on the affiliate side is they have some sort of BD, business development energy, like they're going to the BNI meetings, or they're trying to get in front of realtors. And then we provide all the collateral and all the support once they have somebody join the program. So that yin and yang has worked really well. And then you complement that with what you said, like the ongoing just kind of blanket outreach to get people in, cast the net wider, just to stay on people's radar.
Yeah. One thing I love about it too is we have a referral partner page on our website that we can direct people to, and you have a form plugin that we can just put right there on the website. Yeah. So people, might find it on their own if they're just poking around on the website, or we could have a QR code that goes to it. We can have a link. We can, email out a link to our list, or display it at a realtor presentation. Like there's so many ways to get people there. And then once they're on the website, however they got there, whether they fill out the form or not, we can retarget them with social media ads, other forms of retargeting, and then get them back over there to sign up as a referral partner. Or you can just pull your lists from business cards or from directories or whatever and just upload them on there. How does that, is there any conflict, I guess, especially when it comes to realtors, with two things? One, just uploading a cold list, say you're part of the Realtor Association, you can get a directory, you just upload that. Is there any kind of like text spamming laws that we need to navigate or anything like that? And the second kind of compliance thing is, realtors always say they can't take money from anybody except for their broker as it relates to the transaction. So how do you navigate that when you're doing a payout?
Yeah, good questions. On the side of the TCPA, compliance side, our platform, because there's a human in the loop, is not considered an auto dialer. And so it's a good practice to just have general consent to reach out to somebody. But our platform is set up in a way that it's the same as if somebody's just texting phone to phone. So we can do outreach. Now we're sensitive to our, it's similar to like on email, like your spam score is not getting a high amount of people that unsubscribe, because our messaging platform will then, count that against us. So we kind of shy away from, if you don't have some sort of relationship with the realtor, we prefer not to do reach out. We'll do tests here and there. But that's kind of the general census on our side for we're compliant, but we kind of don't love it unless there's a relationship. On the other side, the incentive to realtors. So RESPA, right, applies to financial services. That's the law for realtors where they can't get a kickback if it's a financial service that they're referring their client to. Moving is not a financial service. It doesn't fall under RESPA. With that said, there's some states that have blanket incentive laws where you can't get a kickback at all if you're a realtor on most things. And moving would kind of be assumed in those. Those are a few states here and there. So the way we approach it is this. We leave it up to the realtor whether or not they want to receive an incentive. If they don't, no problem. We'll set their payout to zero. And we have on the other side, we manage the benefit to the client, right? What's promoted to their client. Oh, yeah. So in those cases, we can, at a individual realtor level, we can customize their payout and the special that their clients get. So in some cases, they're like, hey, I don't want to make the $100. Then we'll say, okay, we'll talk to the moving company and say, do you want to just give more to their client instead? We also, when we give the payout to the realtor, when their client completes their move, they have choice on how they use those funds. Gift card, ACH. They can also donate it to charity if they want. So there's a lot of options on how they can use those funds, or they can just say, hey, I'm not comfortable. I don't want anything. No problem. They get the benefit of a dedicated referral manager, all the tracking, the special for their client that they're getting. So we still work with those realtors really, really well. So yeah, that's kind of how we handle those two.
I love the charity idea. I had that idea a while back to try to kind of navigate that for those sensitive realtors that were afraid to kind of cross those lines in that gray area. But I actually started taking a real estate license course several years ago when I was thinking about getting my real estate license. And then I ended up not doing it because I was like, why would I want to be a threat to these agents that I'm trying to get referrals from if they think that I'm also an agent? So I learned a lot though just doing the course, and one thing that was pretty clear to me in the course is that they can only accept money from their broker as it relates to the real estate transaction, and moving comes after the real estate transaction most of the time. It's not going to make or break the transaction. It's just it's a home service that needs to happen later, totally separately from the closing on the house that either they're buying or selling. So, it is a little bit of a gray area. Unfortunately, a lot of agents, it's a low barrier to entry and they're not that smart and they don't understand it very well. But as a moving company owner, it's important to explain that. And I mean, I'm in Florida, so it might be different in certain states, but I know in Florida, it's something that we educate agents on. So when I'm doing a real estate presentation, I say, hey, we do this program. We give your client boxes when they move, when you refer them, we'll give them 20 free boxes in your name. And then, we can give the realtor boxes too to leave as leave behinds at listing appointments, or so that they can help their clients out. And it even enhances the, experience for them and their likability. And then I'll educate them that, we can give you money. Like, contrary to popular belief, I've done the real estate course here in Florida, and we're not related to your transaction. And so you can get a kickback. Now, a lot of agents will say, I don't care about the $50 or the $100 or the, whatever. I just want you to do a good job. My name's on the line. I rely on repeat and referral business. And I'm like, oh, well, you should try Snoball then if you rely on repeat and referral business. But they, they say they don't care about the money. But I was thinking about this the other day, and I was like, you know what? Like, think about like the mafia, right? Like, we're not the mafia. Obviously, we're all above board. We're doing things legally, but like, they'll just give you some money. They'll walk into a place and they'll grease some palms and give them some money, and that money's usually not returned. And so it's like, what if we just kind of, and it doesn't have to be something illegal like the mafia, but just in general, like when you give somebody something and they didn't even ask for it, or they didn't even opt into it, then there's still that kind of law of reciprocity, that kind of like subconscious back of the head, like, okay, now they kind of owe me something, not overtly, like not blatantly, but it's like, what if we just started giving every single person $50 or something nice, gift card or a thank you note, even every time they referred us, whether they asked for it or not, whether we have a program or not, whether they're opted in, signed up, getting the text, whatever, like, they're going to be more likely to want to do business with you because of that gesture and that law of reciprocity. So,
and the order that you said that in, Wade, was very important. And we've found this. We're now working with thousands upon thousands of realtors across our platform. They care most about what their client gets and how their client's treated. That's first and foremost. Two, everything else is a deposit in the relationship bank, a gift card, a message, them feeling the perceived relationship or a point of contact they have with the Snoball assistant, that they have a dedicated referral manager to them, right? They're not just a number in the database. All of those things build up that relationship bank that leads to them wanting to send you more business. At the end of the day, like, for all the moving company owners on here, like, the hardest thing in all of this, and the thing that the moving company owners are doing the biggest lift on, is providing a good experience for the customer. Like, that's foundational, right? I think it goes without saying, but so that's the hard part. And then we just come in and say, for those that do great work, we want to help you grow your business because you're sitting on a gold mine. I'll tell you just a brief story. My pops was a general contractor for 30 years, and I'd go to jobs with them and do work on the site and whatnot, hold sheetrock. And he did phenomenal work. Like, he put so much energy and attention into every detail so that it was really quality work. And he didn't know how to, like, get referrals or get reviews. At that point in time, wasn't a thing. But I think my dad, like he did it the right way. And I feel like in a way through proxy by helping companies that do it the right way today, I'm kind of in a way helping my pops just grow from doing the hard work, doing it right. So anyway, but you know, on the realtors, their client is most important to them. The gift to them is just a deposit in the relationship bank.
Mm-hmm. How do you stand out from all the spam texts? Like, just like before this call, I got a text, you're qualified for $417,000, blah, blah,
Yes.
blah. Like, I get those things all the freaking time. I just, I ignore. Like, there's one, I was shopping for a car like 3 years ago, and I still get texts from this car dealership. So, like, how do we stand out when we're sending out these text messages? Like, one thing I've noticed, and I don't know if you have the capacity to do this or not, I think there's some technology out there that maybe you could look into if you don't, but like showing up as a blue text for iPhones, I feel like kind of goes a long way. And, sending pictures or videos, short little video can go a long way. Are you able to incorporate any of those elements to stand out anymore? I want to take a second and tell you all about Tighten Up Training. As a co-founder, we've spent months and months and months and a lot of money pooling together resources from some of the best moving companies in the world. And we're excited to bring this to an online platform available to any mover to use at an affordable price. Tighten Up Training has over 200 videos, including mover training, your highest turnover position, so that you can reduce claims, streamline operations, give your team the tools to perform at the highest level of service that generate repeat and referral business and allow you to charge higher prices, as well as sales training, marketing training, business development, leadership. We're adding more content as we speak. We've got legal training in there. We've even got door-to-door training for the moving industry, thanks to Lenny Gray at the Moving Titan Retreat. We've seen a massive explosion of moving companies jumping on to Tighten Up Training since the last retreat, and people are loving it. And when you sign up and mention this podcast, we're going to give you a free 6-week onboarding course in order to learn how to hold your team accountable and get the entire team on the platform so that you can have the best off-season and summer season that you've ever had. Ideally, the best 2025 that you've ever had. So go to tightenuptraining.com, schedule your free demo today, and look forward to tightening up.
Yeah, so we're integrated with Twilio. That's our messaging platform. They don't have the ability to do the blue versus green, but the way we get around it, and this is actually a cool segue into what I kind of want to mention on another strategy that could be really powerful for companies, is reference things that are personal to that customer. So an example is when we send to the initial outreach, we say, hey, so-and-so, this is Megan. It's the name of the Snoball assistant. The assistant to Joe who was in your home and helped you with your move. So reference the rep that they had a face-to-face connection with, that they know who they are. That right there gets you over the hump of, okay, this is not a blanket text I'm getting. This is a personal, they know who I am, they know who I work with. So referencing that rep helps to capture that affinity they already have. And then once they respond, so the goal is to get them just to respond initially, and then it kicks into that human-to-human conversation. At that point, the conversation's contextualized to what they're saying. So I'll give you an example. Let's say a customer's like, hey, I can't think of anybody to refer right now, but I've got a brother who's actually moving in like 3 months. He might be interested. Well, Megan, the Snowball assistant, is going to follow up in 2.5 months and say, hey, how's that move going for your brother? We'd love to help him, right? Is he still in the market? So now it's very personalized, like based on their context. Now, the segue I wanted to mention is how to unlock the power of your reps, your movers, your team members in your company to be an army of recruiters to bring in additional advocates. So one way we do that is we have this we have some tools that you can give every mover, QR code, or we can even give them a digital business card, whatever it is. But on that QR code, it takes somebody right into a form where they can join the referral program. But the one nuance that's super important is if they join through that form that the mover has, the mover is attributed in Snowball as the person that brought that referral partner into the system. So now every referral, every review that comes from that referral partner you'll know that it came from so-and-so mover in your company. So what you can do, think about it, it's powerful. You could say, okay, movers, we have this person, this assistant who's going to do all the follow-up for us, but we want to incentivize you guys to bring people into the program. Here's your QR code, and you're going to get credit for anybody you bring in, not only for bringing them in, but we can track all the business that we generate from that referral partner from here on out. So it's a great way to, like, a lot of companies, not only in moving, but in home services, they rely on their movers or their reps to actually ask for the referral and drive the program. And it just doesn't happen because movers are busy and whatnot. So we flip it. We run it, and we work with corporate to drive it, so we're not dependent on the reps and movers. But we've built it in a way that the movers can participate in and benefit from the program because they are the best ones to ask for the referral, right? They're in the home, they're face to face. So we have those tools in our platform. That's one way, like with Two College Brothers. You mentioned, what are we not doing yet? Even just with your guys' account, I'd really like to lean into that. So now you have all everybody who's out there in the field is now armed with an easy way to get people into the program and connect them with the Snoball assistant who can then harvest those referrals and reviews.
I love that. And I preach all the time. I gave a whole talk on it at the last Titan retreat, is that everybody on your team is part of your business development team. It's not just one marketing person. It's not just you as the owner. It's not just your salespeople. But if you can get your entire team to be a biz dev team and going out and looking for and going out to bring home a kill, so to speak, then the whole team's going to eat and you're able to scale way better. I mean, if everybody, say you have 20 people in your company, including the movers, everybody tries to do one outreach a day. Yeah. That's 20 new partners a day. Multiply that by, say, 300 working days in a year. That's 6,000 potential referral partners that you can generate in a year. And if 10% of those referral partners send you one piece of business, that's 600 new jobs. If they send you one piece of business per quarter, that's, do the math, 4 times 6, that's 2,400 new jobs. That's probably more jobs than the majority of the people listening to this do a year. So, I mean, that's just the power of being able to leverage your entire team to get them on biz dev. And it's important to train guys on that. I love that. I didn't realize that we could give that to the movers, because we've been doing this strategy mainly with our office team, which is 7 to 10 people, where we try to do one biz dev outreach a day. But the movers, they're out in the field. They have people walking up to them at gas stations. They have
exactly.
Going in to get lunch somewhere. They're wearing their shirt. They're in line at the grocery store, whatever the case may be. And I mean, the customers were already getting their data, uploaded, and it'll go out after the move's completed. But the neighbors might walk over, whoever, they're out in the field where the rest of the team's sitting in the office most of the day. So it makes.
And one thing I want to kind of maybe challenge, like the mindset and this not only applies to the moving industry, but also home services. Everybody's so fixated on getting a Google review to rise up in the map stack and get local SEO. It's super important. It really is. And so what they do is they align these incentive programs for their movers and reps to get a Google review, and they track who got the Google review. They get a $25 gift card if they get a certain amount of reviews. Well, what if you said, okay, movers, we have an assistant that that's going to be each of your assistant, that once you get somebody who's willing to refer business or review, either or, introduce them to the assistant, and the assistant will get all those things, including the Google review. So what we do is we say, okay, movers, here's your QR code. As soon as somebody's willing to refer or review, simply have them join our ambassador program. The Snoball assistant will then get the Google review, get referrals, get a video testimonial, all those things, and track it back to the rep that brought that person in. So you can still run all of your incentive programs, but now instead of just a Google review, you can now incentivize your team members on what they produce in the form of referrals, actual completed moves and revenue, Google reviews. So it's just a broader, like, instead of just being a point and shoot on Google reviews, which again is super important, have it be a more broad piece, and then the Google reviews are still generated from that outreach. So that's just a thought there.
And that brings up a good point. Like, how do you sequence the asks? So after a move's completed, let's say they get a text saying, if thanks for your business. If you know anybody looking to move, click this link. You'll get $50. They get free boxes or whatever you want the incentives to be. But then you can't really ask for the best company review and the Google review and the referral and the video testimonial, like all in that text. People will just get overwhelmed and won't do anything. Analysis paralysis. So what's the sequence look like? I guess, I would assume you start with the highest value ask that's going to move the needle, and then you work down. But like, how frequently are you doing those things?
Really like this part of our platform, because it's been something a science that we've really kind of refined over 1 million plus conversations. Lead with the referral program. At the end of the day, why do you get Google reviews? It's to show up higher on the map stack to get a lead that turns into a customer, right? Or if you could just get a referral that turns into a customer, even better. Introduce the referral program, but that serves two purposes. One, it plants the seed in their mind that there is a referral program. It normally takes 4 to 5 touch points before they send their first referral anyway. So plant the seed, but also the second purpose it serves is it identifies sentiment. So most of the time people respond with, if they're happy, hey, thanks for letting me know. I'll keep this in mind, but I don't have anybody to refer right now, right? Most people don't have somebody to refer like on the ready. And so, but they will, based on their response, indicate if they're happy or not. So then the very next text says something like, hey, perfect. Refer anybody when the time is right. In the meantime, would you leave a review if I send you a link? The psychology of they couldn't give you a referral right now, but they have 2 minutes of their time to leave a review. Most people at that point are like, oh yeah, I can definitely do that. I'd love to help you. So now we know they're a happy customer. So you're only going to get positive reviews. And the psychology, you've kind of set the psychology of, I couldn't give you this, but I can give you this. And then at that point, the review ask, we can customize that by company. So we can go right to asking for the Google review if you want. We can go through the funnel that gets like a best company review. You can get a review on Facebook or Google. So we have options there on how to adapt that. But the good news is you've planted the seed on the referral program. You've only asked the happy customers for reviews. And then again, Wade, the key here is like the Snowball assistant is going to continue to nurture this conversation for months and years. And so we'll always circle back. If they haven't left a Google review yet, we'll follow up. Hey, I know you left a review a few months ago. Would you mind leaving a Google review? Or we're looking to build our presence on Facebook. Would you leave a review? So it's not all just a one-shot deal. It's going to be a conversation over time. But that sequencing of referral first, then review has worked really well.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you mentioned 4 to 5 touch points to get them to take an action. Keller Williams has a book by Gary Keller called The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and he preaches 12 touch points throughout the course of a year. So like you mentioned earlier, birthdays, anniversaries, random holidays, nobody gets a card in the mail for Valentine's Day or St. Patty's Day. So you can stand out, everybody does for Christmas. Well, not everybody, but more. Christmas is kind of the big Christmas card holiday or big card holiday. But like, if you can do it on random ones, you'll stand out because nobody else is sending them. But what's your frequency? Yeah. And I guess it probably depends on their engagement.
That's right.
But I mean, assuming that they don't respond, I imagine the majority of people probably don't respond to the first text.
Yep.
And do you have to customize that? Like, do we have to go in there and set up that sequence, or do you have a roadmap and your own program for it? I'm sure we can kind of put on our own requests if we want, but like, what do you recommend?
Yeah. So our standard initial outreach, again, with the primary goal being get the person to respond, is day 1, day 7, day 21, day 45. After day 45, after 4 messages, we can't always go back and message them. But at that point, we're like, oh, you know what? They're probably not going to respond. Maybe it's a bad number, whatever it is. Once they respond, we then, every reason we have based on the context of the conversation to reach out to them, we will. Their brother's moving. They mentioned their clients are closing next month. And they want it, so we'll check back in. How's the closing going? We'll try to find any reason to touch base. If there's not a reason to touch base, the default is about every 2 to 3 months, a check-in. Hey, this is Megan, your dedicated referral manager, or the assistant to so-and-so. Just wanted to kind of bring it to the top of your radar again. We have a referral program, and or, hey, do you leave a review? So depending on what they responded to initially, if there's not a specific reason, 2 to 3 months is kind of the default. And a company can get more aggressive or less aggressive on that, right? They can say, well, let's maybe go every 4 months or let's go every month. So we can customize it by company.
Most of you have heard me talk about Moversville and the power of their email marketing service that has helped us increase leads by over 112% over the last year. But have you heard of Moversville Connect? Moversville Connect is an incredible resource for all things moving. They feature an array of vendors and services and lists like insurance providers, softwares, equipment suppliers, marketing sources, and much, much more. The best part? This resource is free. Go check out Moversville Connect today by going to moversville.com and clicking Connect. That's moversville.com and click Connect and discover the world of Moversville beyond email. Gotcha. And are you varying what the texts say on each of those touches if they're not responding? Are you making different asks in those, or is it usually the same?
In the first 4, it's like, hey, here's the referral program, and then the next one's like, hey, just checking in, wanted to make sure you got my previous message and want to see if you have any questions. So it's more like a nudge message, and it kind of fades out. And then we have a library of templates based on their responses once they do respond. And then AI is built in to suggest messages to our team as well. It allows us to do what we do at scale. But yeah, to answer your question, it is customized as it moves through the life cycle of the conversation.
Gotcha. Yeah, I like how you use AI as a tool and not a crutch, because a lot of these programs are all AI, and it's just what it is. But AI, it's only as smart as the person using it. You can only dig a hole as deep as you can use a shovel. Or kind of butchered that, but you get what I'm saying. Like, you can only use the tool as well as the user is. So, I think that's important just in general with AI for anybody who's using it. Like I see people doing like website articles that are all AI driven, but that's not helping your website out very much, because all the AI is doing is scraping a bunch of other content that's already on the internet that's not unique, versus, asking AI, hey, what's a topic I can write about? Give me a few bullet points that I can put into my own words. Or sometimes I'll write an article for, a publication somewhere, and it needs to be 750 words. And I'll, just pour all my thoughts out, vomit all over the paper, 2,000 words, and say, hey, AI, can you put this in, can you condense this to 750 words in my voice? And, it's still my words, it's still my thoughts, my experiences, because everybody has their own unique experience, but it's condensed. So there's a lot of tools to use, but it's important.
You think about that way, so the way we're building our AI brain is it can take in seconds the full context of the conversation. Let's say it's been a year-long conversation, right? Full context. It can take into account outside external information. So an FAQ from the company, their website, certain inputs the company's given us, direction on how to answer certain questions. All of this stuff in a brain, so that specific conversation, the suggested message back to that person is hyper personalized and has all the information in a matter of seconds. But then the human can be a layer to ensure that it hasn't gone off the rails, right? That it didn't miss something. So that's how we're approaching the human and tech kind of combo.
Yeah, that's great. One thing I've also found valuable, we've been doing this for years with our email drip campaign, and that's all pre-canned, emails that go out. And there's probably something there that we could utilize AI for as well. But we'll do a very similar sequence. We'll have more frequency in the first month of email drips, or depending on the lead flow, if it's just a lead, if it gets a quote, if it books, there'll be different email sequences that go out. We had that set up through Moversville. And then it starts to slow down, but it'll go quiet for a little while. And then 300 days after the move, it'll start a new campaign for the people that might just be renting for a year, because a lot of leases are 12 months.
Right.
And so we can then, start to say, hey, it's been almost a year since your last move with us. Are you going to be renewing your lease, or are you thinking about moving anytime soon, or know anybody else who's moving? So if that's not an automatic standard template that you guys use, I'd love to plug a 300-day sequence into it for renters.
Yeah, I think it's a good strategy you're mentioning, that like the companies that get, our core product, like plug and play, is really solid. But if you then want to take it to the next level, you can look at it and say, what data do we have in our CRM that would have a valuable trigger for a touch point? So the 300 days, the anniversary, so you think about the data you have in your CRM, what messages would we trigger based on that data? And then we can come in and set up that custom, those event triggers to send out a message over text and email based on those specific events. So that's a 30-minute call we could have with the company. So, okay, let's lay out what data is available and when do you want to trigger a message based on those events in your CRM. And now it's just more reasons for Megan, the Snowball assistant, to have a touch point, to earn the top of mind, and it all leads to more business eventually.
Yeah. Can you segment different parts of your audience? Like maybe you have homeowners, maybe you have people who've moved out of state, maybe you have renters, students, renters and students are going to be a little bit different than somebody who just bought, a 4-bedroom house. They're probably going to be in that house for a while. And they might, you might want to lean into those more for referrals, whereas a renter is probably going to be moving, more frequently. And then somebody moves out of state, maybe you would want to tailor something to, hey, anybody thinking about moving to Florida?
Yep.
Or is that sort of a thing? Is there an ability to segment that with your customer base automatically, like how it's tagged in your CRM?
Yeah, we are dependent somewhat on the data that we're given from the company, from their CRM. Mm-hmm. We'll learn things as we have conversations and can append that data set that we got from the CRM. But whatever the CRM segmentation ability is, we can also match that and have our messages be layered at that same kind of segmentation level.
Well, I'd love to talk a little bit more on what we could do with smart moving and how we could tag certain jobs. We could, obviously probably not this call. It might be something we set up something else to share screens, but I love that could be extremely valuable. Tell me a little bit about Best Company. That's the company that you had originally started before. And I know that some of the reviews that you push are directed to leave reviews on Best Company. What's the benefit to getting a review on Best Company, and what benefits and possible sources of business can that bring for a moving company?
Yeah. So as far as Snowball is concerned, Best Company is another directory that just happens to be deeply integrated with Snowball. So when we onboard a company, we really frame it as what does the company need the most? If it's Google reviews, if it's reviews to to some other platform. So the benefits to Best Company are kind of twofold. One, it has a pretty solid organic ranking. So when people type in your brand plus reviews on Google, so Two College Brothers reviews, the Best Company profile for Two College Brothers will probably be somewhere up there. We don't control Google's algorithm, so sometimes higher, sometimes lower. So it gives you another third-party placement for your brand that presents your company in a positive light. The second benefit, and then of course any leads that come from that organically are just funneled to you. So they're just kind of like free leads. You're not going to pay for those. And then the second benefit is when we get a review, if we send it through the Best Company funnel, because we own that site, we can track what they do from that point forward. So we can catalog if they left a Google review. We can catalog if they've left a video testimonial. So we can keep a running total of every customer, what they've done in terms of reviews and video testimonials. If we send them right to Google, we lose that visibility just because we're now sending them directly to a platform that we don't have insight into. So those are the two main benefits. There's also in the Snowball, for those that are on Snowball, there's a library of tools. Once you have reviews, you can then in a few clicks turn into a social media post or create an infographic, or there's a library of widgets to put on your website to highlight reviews. So a lot of those are powered by the Best Company reviews as well. We're also bringing in Google reviews into those. So those are a few other benefits there. So those would be the three main reasons, but we don't push it by any means. Like it's not something that we say you've got to do this or not. We'll do whatever's best for the client of ours, the moving company.
Gotcha. What about Yelp? Obviously, everybody hates Yelp, including myself. I don't give them money or a lot of attention, But unfortunately, they love to filter out good, legitimate reviews and
Yeah.
display bad, fraudulent reviews, which
Yep.
is completely backwards. But they also have a very sensitive algorithm for like asking for reviews and knowing when it comes from a link or anything like that. Have you found any ways to use Snowball to try to get more Yelp activity, positively?
Yeah, the short answer is no, because they're like the North Korea of reviews. It's like
Yeah.
the policy is a blanket policy, don't ask for reviews, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Right. Because the only
And
people that are going to voluntarily leave a review most of the time are going to be people that had a bad experience trying to
Exactly. Yeah, and
get
then
money
they
or
use that as a coercive business
something.
tactic to get you to use
Strong
them.
arm.
And
Yep.
listen, as long as they're relevant on Google search, that they're probably going to have a lot of sway. But hopefully the Google algorithm in time catches up to them. But
Yeah, well, they're native on Apple Maps too, which kind of sucks. Yeah, so that's another piece. It's still a factor as much as we love to hate it, but trying to figure out ways to master that, because very few companies I know have been able to crack the Yelp code. There are some, but I think it's largely dependent on the market that they're in too, because like Austin, Texas, San Francisco, they're very reliant on Yelp. Like everybody uses Yelp for everything over there. Tampa, most of Florida, they don't, but it shows up on Google search, shows up on Apple Maps. So it's something to still, keep in mind.
So I think the two-pronged strategy there is, of course, beef up all the non-Yelp social proofing, website, Google My Business, third-party listings. So Yelp is just a factor when companies or when a customer is considering who to use. In terms of getting Yelp, things that we can help with, because we're having a conversation with the customer, we can guide them. Short of just asking them to leave a review. If a company wants us to ask a customer to leave a review on Yelp, we can do that. Now you run some level of risk of Yelp finding out, that you're asking for reviews, and they do whatever they're going to do. But we're having a conversation with the customer. We know if they're happy, we can guide them to leave a review on Yelp. We absolutely can do that. But there's no like integration or anything. Like Yelp, like I said, is a black box. But we can be a factor there if a company wants to get a little more aggressive and run like a campaign to get Yelp reviews, and we'll do it in a way that's as under the radar as possible, or within their compliance as possible. But those I would say are kind of the two-pronged approaches.
Makes sense. I just have a question out of curiosity. You work with a lot of moving companies. What moving company? I guess don't say the name. I guess, but is there a moving company that is just absolutely head and shoulders crushing it above the average company? Like, what's the best ROI you've seen from a moving company, and what all are they doing? I would imagine they're doing a little additional customization to it and going deep. But you don't have to name the company, but what's the best results you've seen from a company, and what's their strategy?
Yeah, the companies that are getting the most value from our platform are taking a holistic approach, meaning we started with their customer referral program. Then they brought in their affiliate program, and we're managing both. So they have one platform that manages referrals, right? Tracking payment. So there's no leakage. There's no chance of somebody was promised X and it didn't happen, right? It's Snowball just takes that and handles that for them. Then the second thing is then they engage or bring in the other stakeholders, reps and movers who are in the field, are an army of advocates recruiting people into the program, like I mentioned. They get their social marketing team into Snowball to use the reviews for social proofing on their website, in their sales collateral, all those kind of things. And so they just bring in other stakeholders who could benefit from the reviews and referrals. And those companies who are checking all those boxes are just getting the most out of it. Now that doesn't go without saying, those who are just on the customer side are seeing a ton of value, but I would say those are the ones that are like, they're getting the most meat off the bone.
Gotcha. And then maybe you don't know off the top of your head, but like what kind of an ROI, or like how many referrals or whatever are they seeing?
I mean, the cost of the platform, it depends on how many conversations we're having, but it's a fraction of the cost of an intern to not only have the software that does what we're doing, but also the person to run it. And so, the ROI, I mean, I don't have like a specific number, but I want to say, 15, 20x or more, because you're paying a flat fee and it's not a percentage of the revenue that comes in. So once that fixed cost is met, everything else is marginal from that point on, or incremental. And so, we have some companies that just from the ROI, revenue versus cost, are seeing a huge return. Then you factor in all the operational savings that you're realizing. You don't have to hire somebody to do this. You're saving time of people who were doing it in the past and having to just they're pulling their hair out trying to keep track of all of it. So there's the operational savings and then the true revenue ROI side of it too. Compounded, it's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, that's super cool. And I imagine that they're probably doing some additional customized campaigns and prompts and frequencies and stuff like that. And what's cool about you guys too is you don't just work in the moving industry, you also serve other industries. So when we're going out building relationships with different realtors and stuff that also rely on repeat and referral business, we can offer, give them a referral to this tool. Do you offer any kind of incentive kickback? And I know we got to wrap up here, but that'll be the last question.
Yeah. And we are starting to do actually a lot with
referral fee for referring Snoball, basically.
Yeah, 100%. So we have a Snoball referral program. We can give you a link. So we eat our own dog food, right? But we're starting to do stuff for realtors to manage their ecosystem of referral partners, right? So if you know a realtor, if you know anybody who wants to streamline their referral program, and reviews if they're looking to get reviews, Snoball just does it for them, provides that assistant, the software and the assistant to do it all for them. If you have anybody, let me know. We'll get you a link to refer over, and there is a referral incentive for that.
Yeah, please do. I've got a lot of people I could point this to.
Awesome.
Landon, this has been awesome. I know you got a hard stop here, so we got to wrap it up, unfortunately, but you and I will continue to talk. We'll see you at the next Moving Titan retreat. You're a huge sponsor, but in the meantime, how can people get in touch with you to sign up for Snoball and try it out and find how much more business that they can generate working with your platform?
Yeah, email's great. Landon, Landon at snowballwithoutthew.com. Facebook, anyway, LinkedIn, however you want to find me. Would love to, and even if you don't use Snoball, sincerely, would love to just share ideas. I love seeing good companies grow, going back to my story about my dad. And so if there's any way I can help, please let me know. And if you use us or not, that doesn't matter. I, of course, hope you do, but it does not matter. I'd love to help.
Love it. We'll put your information in the show notes. And thank you so much for coming on the Grow Your Moving Company podcast. Looking forward to growing with you and seeing you in a few months at the Titan Retreat, September 10th through the 12th. Ladies and gentlemen, Landon Taylor with Snoball, without the W, SNOBALL.com. And we'll look forward to growing our businesses. So thank you all for growing your moving companies with us today. And until next time, we'll see you later.
You're the freaking man. Thanks, Wade.
Before we wrap up, I want to thank the team at Hey Lieu for making this show happen. Hey Lieu is a virtual assistant placement and management platform owned by a fellow moving titan, and they provide the production for the Grow Your Moving Company podcast. But here's what's really amazing. Their virtual assistants do way more than just podcast support. From managing my crazy schedule to handling client communications, data and KPI analysis, and even sales support for a fraction of the cost of traditional salaried in-house employees, they're truly a secret weapon behind Two College Brothers' growth. Curious how a VA could transform your business? Check out our referral link in the show notes. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Grow Your Moving Company podcast. If you would like to learn more about any of the sponsors listed on this show, want to apply for the next Moving Titan retreat, or interested in owning or working for a Two College Brothers franchise, drop me a line at wade@twocollegebrothers.com. Moving out. Have a great day.